11 p.m.
Oh, cool. We're a tad early for that.
Oh my goodness. Hello to everybody. My apologies if you thought we were doing this in 12 hours. Apparently, I didn't check the AM button, and it says we're going to go live at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. I will not be up at that time.
You
Oh my goodness. All right. Here we go. Ashley Parker of the Loopy Lamb. Welcome. This is our first time going live together, isn't it?
I think we went live together with the DeVeter once, but I think this is the first time with just you and I.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, so grateful you are here joining me today. We have stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Stuff to give away, which is really exciting. But first, I want to talk a little bit about you and just say hi. Oh, we have people joining us. Ola Joe is here. Hi, Andrea, Rochelle, iHeart138, Facebook user. It's great to see you here. And hi to everybody watching the replay, because we do get a lot of people who join us after, which is awesome as well. So happy Friday. Happy Friday. 1 week until the holiday season, I think, officially begins.
Yeah.
Which, have you started shopping? Are you done your shopping? Where are you on your shopping?
I finished last night at like 8:30. That's the closest I've gotten in a while, because I don't like to be this close.
We have like not started.
Oh no.
I know. We do this every year. I do this every year. Every year. And one day I'm going to learn my lesson.
Well, Steve used to go Christmas shopping. Like, he'd deliberately leave it to Christmas Eve. He and his brother would go when the mall opened, and they'd be done by lunchtime, and they just do all of their shopping in one go. And I would get so stressed out for him. So now we can't do that anymore.
My dad was the same way. So we're both up in Canada. And right. So we also have Boxing Day.
Yes.
Which is like our version of Black Friday. Well, now Black Friday is a little bit more global now, but before I worked online, I used to work in retail in the mall. And so we used to do a lot of we would prepare for Boxing Day, which was our big sale, on Christmas Eve. And so that was like a little lesser known fact, was that sometimes, depending on the store, if you go shopping Christmas Eve, you would get some of the Boxing Day pricing sometimes. And so, yeah, it was, I would wait as well, but now it's so, okay. I'm not the only one waiting. So glad I'm not alone. I knew I wouldn't be alone. And it's kind of late now to do any online shopping, because you're kind of past that cutoff, right? Like, you're cutting it way too close. So I am going to have to go brave the mall this weekend. You are getting compliments on your glasses, by the way.
Thank you.
We've spent a lot of time talking about glasses too, haven't we?
We have. Should I switch them? I think I should.
I want to watch this. I love this. So fun. What brand are those again?
These are Pair Eyewear. I couldn't decide which one to wear, so I had to have other ones on the desk.
How much fun is it? Just magnetic, right?
Yep.
I see the ads for it all the time. So much fun. Someone else just finished shopping last night. Oh my goodness. See, I find like if I start too early, though, I just keep shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, start later, it's easier to stick to your budget.
Yeah, I can get that. But for me, like, for instance, like my last gift last night, that was the absolute deadline to get it, because it was a custom frame that we're getting done for someone.
Okay.
And so it was the deadline. And we left that way too late. It gets here December 23rd at I think they said 3:30 in the afternoon. So hopefully,
as long as there's no delays and oh my gosh. Yeah, that is. Well, I'm hoping it gets to you on time, because that sounds really fun. So Ashley, for those of the people watching who may not be, who might be wondering why you're here, aside from the fact that you are a lovely person and we just have so much fun chatting, there is a reason why I invited you on today in particular. So Ashley, let's talk a little bit about you first as a
Okay.
designer. So you are a crochet pattern designer
Yeah.
and blogger. How long have you been doing this for professionally?
Officially since 2018. So
And what would
August.
you say you are best known for?
Probably my amigurumi designs.
Do you remember your first amigurumi that you designed?
The first one that I published is probably one of my cactus designs. I started off designing crochet cacti and putting mustaches on them and making them have little personalities and stuff. And then I started making everything else.
It's
I
by
think one
most
of my first
recently.
ones was Saint Prickles.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Yeah.
That is so cute. Do you have like a favorite amigurumi that you've designed?
That's close. I think I have 2, and one of them is wrong. I can never do this backwards. So Seth the Sloth here,
So
and
cute.
then, my little Otis, which is up there, the ones that are on the shelf. Those are definitely my 2 favorites. Those really got me into crocheting with fur yarn and trying to experiment with different textures and just different ways to just make amigurumi my own kind of thing.
Oh, I love that. And so then this book, because we're going to talk about your book, which I can see on your shelf above your head.
Okay.
Um, I have a copy here as well, Crochet Furry Friends. So you went from designing cacti with mustaches to an entire book. And I know that it was a bit of a process for you. You and I've talked about it quite a bit, and it's been a labor of love and something that I know I'm excited to share with everyone. But can you talk a little bit about how, like, just the idea for this came to be, and maybe a little bit about what the process looks like?
Of course.
Okay.
So I had the idea for some time, as you know. So I wanted to create initially the ultimate guide to crocheting with faux fur, right? And because so many people find it intimidating, and I wanted to find a way to make it easier for people to make it more approachable so they can create things like my amigurumi where people will look at them like, you did not crochet that, that's not crocheted, right?
Right.
Like those compliments feel good, and I want people to experience that and create these toys. So when I had the idea, I was really nervous about putting it out there, and I sat on it for a year before I did anything about it. And then I was sitting there the one day, and I have this motto that is, if it scares the poop out of me, I absolutely have to at least attempt it. I
Yeah.
have to do it. I have to attempt it. And so I was sitting there, I was like, I am not doing that at all. So I sent off this proposal that I had for some time, and I sent it off to some publishers, and many of them were very excited about it. And that's how it all came to be. So
I love that. So, how did you go about deciding which characters would end up in the book?
So some of them were based on reader feedback. So, for instance, my Otis the Owl and my Seth the Sloth, they're my 2 of my most popular patterns, and I get a lot of requests for bigger sized toys or
Mhm.
versions of them. And so I was like, well, those ones are easy. We're going to put bigger versions of both of them in the book. And funny story, Seth, when I was making a bigger version, I accidentally made one that was so big he barely fit in my suitcase because I was making him on vacation, and I was like, this might be a tad too big. I'm not even kidding. He was, I don't even know if I can fit him on the screen. That's just,
Wow.
and I was like, yeah, he's gonna not be properly sized for this project. So I had to make him all over. The other than the few that were reader feedbacks
Mhm.
are my kids. They play a huge part in what I'm going to make, especially the Abby axolotl, like you showed there.
Yes.
Abby is obsessed with axolotls, so that was an absolute must because she's been begging me for a furry axolotl friend for some time. And that was created with her. She sat there and she helped me make the decisions. And I based them also on what my kids will play with, right? Because if my kids aren't going to play with it, I'm really not going to make it. So like the unicorn was a lot of hers. The bunny was a recreation of my favorite toy as a child that I no longer have. And then the bear is my son, right? My son, he and I created a small bear called Barrison, and then he wanted a really, really big one. So Barrison was the very first toy that I made for this project.
Oh, I love that.
So my kids
oh, see, yeah. I mean, really, we love amigurumi. They're so cute and endearing, but the kids really have very strong opinions.
Oh yeah,
and it's
my daughter.
yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So these are all something else to mention about this book is Crochet Furry Friends doesn't mean necessarily they are animals that are furry in real life. I mean, an elephant is pretty, like, they have hair, but it is because they're made with faux fur yarn.
Right.
So I love faux fur yarn. I think it is so much fun and so forgiving.
Yes.
You miss a stitch, you double a stitch, no one's going to know. But I know that it can be a little bit intimidating, especially for someone who may not have worked with faux fur yarn before. Do you have any just tips for working with it, or anything to say to someone who might be nervous trying it for the first time?
All right. So first off, the whole premise of the book, or my reason for writing it, was to make it more approachable. So I've really spent a ton of time, putting into explaining how to work with it, how these tips and tricks work to make it easier, and different things that you can do to make it even look better, right? Because even some folks who've made toys with faux fur yarn, they're like, oh, well, it doesn't look as good. And it's like, well, you know what? Let's up level that. Here's what you need to do that. And guess what? It's super easy. And I share all of that with you in the book. But when it comes to faux fur, my main tip is just take perfectionism and just toss it out the window, because like you said, it's so forgiving. Like, you can have the sloppiest seams in the world. And one of the things that people complain about is like, oh, I hate sewing on arms and legs. It's so messy. It's like, guess what? You can't see any of that. You make a mistake, nobody knows. And you just keep on trucking. And that's the best part, is that it's just so forgiving. And even if you're, it's not perfect, it can still turn out to be this absolutely gorgeous project at the end of the day. And, why not give that a shot?
I totally agree. Absolutely. So if we have an Ami beginner or a faux fur beginner, which of these patterns would you say would be the most beginner friendly as an introduction to this type of project?
So any of the toys in there that are made with only the fur yarn. So you're going to be looking at Beatrice Bunny, your bear, sorry, I called him something else in this bear, Barrington bear, any of them that just use the fur yarn. And I actually make that recommendation in the book of which ones you should start with. Also, Shrim and Sheep would be a great beginner one, because they're only using the fur yarn. Gauge isn't going to play into it at all. You're just practicing with the fur yarn. And then as you get more experienced, you can start using projects like Elliot Elephant here. Even he could be done by a beginner if you don't care about the size of his tusks. If the tusks are a little off and they could be a little bigger, could be a little smaller, it's a little personality to your toy. You can absolutely give this guy a try. And I mean, he's super cute. Who cares if they're a little bigger, a little smaller, right? We're all different.
I love that. And I love, I just want to also say that you do have tutorials in the book, and when they are stitch tutorials, you're not using faux fur yarn, which means that it is easy for the reader to actually see where the stitches are. Because I know we just mentioned that you can't really see them, but you can feel them. Like, there is that. You can still count by feeling, but the tutorials themselves are done in a regular yarn, which makes it really easy to learn by, which I really appreciate that, Ashley. Thank you.
No worries. So, well, yeah, and that was a big discussion when we were sitting down planning the book is, why are you not providing this to us in fur? I said, well, you can't see it. Why would I do that?
Right.
You need to understand a basic stitch and what it looks like and how to execute it before jumping into the faux fur yarn. So that's why we did it with the smooth yarn, because we want it to be as clear and straightforward for folks as possible.
I love it. Donna's curious which hook would be good to use with faux fur yarn, because I'll let you speak to that.
Okay. So I exclusively use Furls hooks, and they're used in the book. I use, for the yarn recommended in the book, I use a 5.5 millimeter or a 6 millimeter hook. And I really like the streamline metals for them. But also any of the Furls hooks work great. Like, I'm working on one right now. Where is my hook? With this one.
Love it.
So, I mean, as long as it's comfortable for you, use whatever, but those are the recommended hook sizes. And I also talk about choosing a hook size, getting the best fabric, and how hook size helps create the best fabric, and what changes to make changes to your fabric as well.
I think that's actually a really good point too, because traditionally a lot of amies are done with a very small hook, because you're using even a worsted weight yarn. You're going to typically use a hook size that's a little bit smaller to make sure your stitches are nice and tight. With the faux fur yarn, having it be a bulkier yarn, you get to use a slightly larger hook size, a little bit easier to manipulate and control if you're doing it for the first time. Streamline metals are very nice because they're my new favorite, especially with the updated tip shape and everything. But you had also used, I think, streamline resins for this book.
Yes.
Correctly?
I forgot the word resin. That's why I was like, this hook. It's not noon yet. But yeah, no, I use the streamline resins significantly as well. So like I said, any hook that's comfortable and creates a great fabric is what you're ultimately looking for. But those are the ones that I've used in the book.
Awesome. Kayla says, adorable, but Amy is so intimidating to me. Kayla, if you have any questions that you would like to ask Ashley, I mean, she's here. She can't leave yet. She's here for a little while. So go ahead if you have anything in particular.
I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else about this book. Actually, I'll let you ask, or kind of just go with this. Is there anything else in this book that you feel either makes it easier for beginner Amy crocheters, or make it different than maybe other Amy patterns or books on the market that you'd like to talk about?
So, I mean, right now, this is the first book of its kind to be on the market. There are no other crochet books that focus just on creating projects with a faux fur yarn. And again, I've worked with this yarn extensively. I mean, my shelf is filled with them. And so I've got lots of experience showing and helping people how to do that. So I really put a lot of thought into the maker's experience for this book, and how to give them the tools that they need to create these toys, because I review a lot of books. And so when I'm doing these reviews, I always look at them as, what skill level is this for? Do I need to go outside this book to get anything more in order to create these things? And so we tried really hard to include as much as humanly possible in this book, so you've got everything that you need. And I even went so far as I worked with the publisher. They've created a page where you can actually see video tutorials of the stitches in this book. There's a QR or a link in there where you can just go there, and if you're struggling with the photos, you can go and see the video tutorials to help you through that. And the other thing is that you almost never see in amigurumi books is I talk about gauge, and everyone's like checking out. I know, because I'm talking about gauge. But gauge is so important, especially when you want your toy to turn out the same size. And I hear this complaint a lot from people who come and find my book reviews and like, oh, it says this toy is 12 inches and mine turned out to be 8. What happened? This pattern's bad. And it's like, no, it's not the pattern. They just missed a step and didn't tell you that, how to have your toy turn out to be that same size, right? And so I guide you through that, even talk to you about how gauge is different with fur yarn and how to measure that, and again, how to make those changes. So And all of my patterns are written where you have a gauge check right in the pattern. I write my gauge swatches in the pattern. So that
I
way
love that.
you can, once you match gauge, you can just keep on trucking. You don't have to block it. You just keep on working, because I know I don't want to slow down most of the time to match gauge. And I know makers don't. So why not build it into the actual toy so they can just keep on going and still end up with what they need?
I think that is a really great point, because although for AMI blankets or a scarf even, gauge might not be essential for the success of the pattern or project, but it is if you are looking to recreate the size specified and the yardage specified in the pattern.
Right.
If you go rogue with the gauge, it's kind of at your own risk. It doesn't mean it's not going to turn out beautifully, but it won't match the specifications in the pattern. So I love that you did it and made it so easy to not add on additional steps. It's just as you go. We do have a couple questions about the yarn itself, and a few viewers are asking if you can recommend a brand of fur yarn that would work well for amigurumi.
Absolutely. So, one of the things I did include in this book is a shopping guide to finding the best fur yarns to help you be as successful as possible, because they're not all created equal. They might look very similar in the finished project, but they're not the same. So, the yarns that I used in this book are the Lion Brand Gopher Faux, the We Crochet / Knit Picks Fable Fur. Those are my two favorites. And then a fur yarn from Hobie that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I believe it's like Furlux. That's it, Furlux. And so those were the ones that I used. And when you're looking at a faux fur yarn, you want to take a look at the back of the yarn. So you look at the yarn strand, and then there's the fur fibers, and then there's a strand that the fibers are attached to. You want to get one that looks more like a ribbon. The thicker it is, the easier it is going to be to feel your stitches, and that's going to make working with it so much easier. The thinner it is, the harder it's going to be.
That is a really great tip. Hello, Gabby's here. Hi, happy Friday. Also saying different fibers for amigurumi. So fun. You get different finishes depending on the weight. It's so true.
That's right. And that's why the gauge is included, because when you use those different weights, as I do in some of the toys, if you want them to fit perfectly, then that's where it's vital. And I explain when it's vital, when it's not. And, that way you can make a choice. You have those choices. Rather than it's like, oh, I can't make this because I don't want to match gauges. Like, well, I can, and this is what will happen if I don't, right? So I just wanted to give everyone those tools so they understand.
I love that. If someone didn't have access to faux fur yarn, or just wanted to start with a regular or a typical fiber for yarn, or would they be able to do that with your patterns? Just substitute for a bulky weight or worsted weight yarn?
Oh, yes. You can absolutely, again, with when you're making substitutions, you have to take a look at the toy, right? So if, for instance, you're making the bear, right? The bear's all made with faux fur yarn. You can substitute that with any yarn that you'd like, right? You have to find your proper hook size to go with that. But I know that for some of my patterns on my blog, where they're just made with fur yarn, people substitute the blanket yarn and make great toys with those. But, again, you change the yarn, you change the size, you change the finish, right? So that's things to keep in mind when you're doing those.
Does faux fur yarn shed?
I've only had maybe a handful of balls where like they've actually, like, some of the fibers have come off, but I don't have issues where like it pulls off the strand. If I've had it where a couple of colors, or where they've come in and you're crocheting and you get a little of the fibers on your lap.
Yeah.
I just throw those in the dryer, in like a dryer bag, and you pull, like, it has to be low. So like low heat or just air, toss it in there for about 10-20 minutes. And then you're crocheting and you don't really have that issue anymore.
Love that.
It's your clothes. So.
Oh, that's great. Actually, that was going to be my next question, was how would you, because a lot of these are going to end up in the hands of children. So what does it look like to care for or clean these animals?
For most amigurumi, I'd recommend just like hand washing them, because when you throw a toy into the wash, you're going to affect the fibers inside the toy, and you're going to cause them to break down faster, and they can lump together depending on how you've washed them. And then you come up with a toy who's maybe got a really lumpy butt and like thing in his head sticking out that wasn't there before, and you can't be fixed unless you can get up inside the toy. So really, hand washing is the best way to ensure the longevity of your toys.
I love that. That just made me think that it could be interesting to have almost like a little zipper or something on the back, so you could remove this stuffing if you need to. You have a pretty bad accident with the animal, or I have 2 sick kids home right now, so it's all I can think of is what happened. Yeah. I really love those tips though. That's fantastic. I do kind of want to go a little rogue with this conversation for a moment, because I need to talk about your 2 of your favorite designs, and you probably already know what I'm going to mention. One is a sloth, but it is in backpack form.
Oh, yes.
And another was a monster backpack that you had debuted at an event, H&H Americas, in June of this year. Yes. So can you talk about those, or do you have them nearby where you could maybe share them? Or
give me 1 second. They're just across.
I know I went rogue. Totally didn't even give you a warning that this is happening. I promise everyone, it is so worth it. All right. So again, if you guys have any questions for Ashley about amigurumi or just her processes in particular, feel free to write them in the comments. Oh, here we go.
Would we be having a conversation, Pam, if we didn't go rogue? I don't think you can.
I don't think so.
So what I did is I turned my sloth pattern with some small changes into a backpack. And when I went to H&H, I was promoting my book and doing demos and helping people, overcome their fears and answering questions about fur yarn. So I wanted them to see, this is it in real life. I just made it with a different color than used in the pattern. And then I even have a little zipper, which I've just got caught on the yarn inside it.
Weave in your ends, friends.
No, I have balls of yarn in there.
Oh.
From the last demo I did with it when I went to Rhinebeck. They gave me all the yarn to bring home. Anyways, so he's got a zipper in it, so he's actually functional. So I was able to carry all of my stuff for that event in him, and it has the added bonus of giving him a little junk in the trunk.
His tush is so cute. So cute.
And then I also, the other thing is, like, I really love to push the thought of what can we do with crochet? What can we do with it to incorporate either technology or make it different, and like really be a showstopper. I mean, what I'm like.
Boundaries. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to show up with another headband. I'm going to show up with something that's got like animatronic hands, because
naturally
that's what we do. So this was my backpack for another, the same event, but a different day. Bear with me a second. Who needs to be turned on? Again, I'm terrible at putting my things away, and there's stuff inside. Here we go. Please still work. There we go. So I was walking around the conference, and people were like, oh my God, what's inside your bag? And many people would just walk up and just shove their hand up in there. Because they're like, what is in there? And they needed to know. So my husband and I programmed these little LED screens that are in there, and his eyes move at random times, so to give it more like lifelike appearance. And these hands were actually animatronic right up until the time we left for the event. But as I was getting ready to go, I accidentally broke the mechanisms that made it all work. So I had to kind of do some crafty fixing in the car, but he still turned out good. So
it is so cool. So cool.
If you can't tell, I really love to make bags, like really, really love to make bags. And even like my day-to-day purse is a crochet bag because why not?
Why not? I absolutely love this. I had to ask you to, to bring this. Should have given you some warning, although you should have known that was coming because it is something I can't not bring up because I'm just absolutely impressed and blown away by it. And you know, when you see a design and like you wish you would have come up with the idea, that is how I feel about those. They are just the coolest, and I love the idea.
Well, if someone hasn't told me my idea is crazy, then it's not worth making for the most part. For me.
And I'm never gonna say no, don't do it.
Oh, exactly. I'm always like, I'm gonna ask Pam. When I ask my husband Steve, I'll be like, is this too crazy? He's just like the backpack, monster backpack. He's like, I don't know. That sounds really crazy. And I'm like, I'm gonna ask Pam. And then I did. And then I'm like, I'm making it. I'm doing it. So we did.
I think we were actually at a hotel in Toronto when you had showed me. I was probably on my way to Austin because that's when we usually get to meet up in person. Is when I have that layover in at the Toronto airport. So, and I remember, I think you showed me a sketch or something is at first. And I was like,
yeah, the sketch. And then we had the little, like the breadboard with the eyes, and we were working on programming. Yeah. And I just showed you like the preliminary program, and you were like, holy smokes.
Oh my gosh. It's just so cool. Okay. Here is the book again. It's Crochet Furry Friends, 12 Faux Fur Amigurumi Animals to Make by Ashley Parker. I will say, I didn't say this part yet. This book is a signed copy from Ashley, and we are going to be doing a giveaway for it. So someone is going to get this book signed by Ashley today. So there you go. I got, of course, the glare. There we go. It is so cute. You all want it for sure. For sure. So where can people purchase this book if they don't win the copy today?
So local yarn stores are picking it up, and Amazon definitely has it. In fact, I thought I saw it this morning. It was on sale on Amazon if anybody is interested. So Amazon, I don't know. And Joann's, it will be available in Joann's soon if it's not already. So
that is amazing. Oh, I love that. I'm looking right now just to confirm. Crochet Furry Friends.
It was Amazon US. I saw it on sale.
Yes, it isn't. Not on sale
for Canada.
I mean, the price though in the Canadian one. And it's showing me that I can have free delivery by tomorrow for Prime members. So if you're looking, if you're like, oh no, I need to get a gift. I forgot. You can have one tomorrow. If you're like me.
Yeah. See,
you haven't started your shopping yet.
On Amazon US, it's $14.99, and they have a $3 coupon right now.
I mean, you can't go. That is amazing. So, and that's lots of time. You have a whole week week for it.
If you have like a fan of owls or just amigurumi in general, the owl can be made in like an evening. So and because it's bulky yarn, you can make them up really quick. My daughter's already asked me for 2 axolotls, and I'm like, okay, how about 1 axolotl? Mom also has to bake cookies for everyone. So.
I mean, I love that. Jen's wondering why her kids' gifts can't come that fast. I feel you.
Right?
Donna said her book is arriving tomorrow, and she's so excited.
Hey, I hope you love it.
Thanks, Donna. So we talked about the yarn. We talked about the hooks. We talked about the book. What is next for the Loopy Lamb? What can we expect in 2024?
I don't know, probably something crazy.
I hope
so. So I'm going to be starting to do in-person teaching. I've got some teaching spots lined up this year. I'm very excited about. I'll be obviously doing more traveling to do, again, more in-person events.
Is there any that you can share yet?
I'm going to be teaching at Knit City in Toronto in May. So I'm very excited about that. I'll be teaching an amigurumi course. There won't be faux fur, it'll just be regular amigurumi, and I'll be teaching you how to level up your amigurumi skills. We'll be making a basic toy. You have a choice of 2 toys that we'll be making, and I'll be showing you how to improve your stuffing techniques, how to do different stitches, and kind of interpret an amigurumi pattern and all the things that most designers don't include in the pattern because they assume you already know it, right? So we're going to be talking about all of those things that you need to know to make the best amigurumi possible from any crochet pattern. So we're going to be working through that together, and I'm excited.
And that is Knit City, Toronto.
Knit City, Toronto. And then I'm also teaching a class on mosaic crochet, and we'll be doing some overlay mosaic crochet mug rugs.
Oh, that's cute. Donna wants you to go to Orlando. So if you can fit
I was just there, Donna. I'm so sorry. I was just there.
I love that. Yeah, you were just there. So I don't remember where I was going with that. That is so exciting though. I'm really hoping I'll be able to see you at the Knit City one yet. I haven't quite decided if I can go because it depends on my travel schedule, but I really, really, really want to go. I did just link theloopylamb.com. So your best bet is always to sign up for Ashley's newsletter. That way you will be in the loop.
Yeah, as I say.
with everything going on and everywhere you can find Ashley. We also had a question that I lost. Where is it? Do you have a YouTube page with tutorials? You do.
I absolutely do. That is one of the things that I'm very good at is step-by-step tutorials, and I have tons of them. I walk you through step-by-step through every project, and I share all my tips and tricks. And again, I want to make sure that you're as successful as possible. So I spend that time with you, making sure that you have everything you need.
Absolutely. So if you go to theloopylamb.com and click on resources and stitch tutorials, you can see a lot of the step-by-step there. And those, I believe, link to your YouTube as well. Is that right?
Yes, they're all embedded on the page, but I also have like the independent YouTube channel where, again, stitch tutorials, book reviews, product reviews, you name it. If it's crochet, you're going to find it there.
Oh, I love that. We also had a couple questions asking if you have any plans to write a bag book.
Been asked that a few times and I'm thinking about it. I'm very seriously thinking about it. I just have some options I need to consider before pursuing that, but I absolutely have a passion for bags, and it's definitely something that will probably be something I do in the future. Just whether it's a book or if it's just like a series, I will definitely be doing that.
I was going to say, either way, I'm sure we can expect
there's going to be better.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. Well, that's really exciting. There's so much coming up for you. So much has happened. This has been a big year for you. 2023
is a year. I was sitting there talking to my husband the other day, and I was like, "How is it December?" Because I feel like the beginning of the year, like I had all of these things lined up. Like we went to Chicago, and then where else did I go this year?
New York.
New York, thank you. We went to New York. We went to Rhinebeck. So, and then there's a couple of other trips that we've done. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, those are all over. I'm looking into 2024 and I don't know how it all happened so fast. It's just like, you think that you've got all this time. Like, oh my gosh, the book doesn't come out until October in the UK. And then like, it's going to be forever. Now it's December. That's already gone. And it's like, what's the next thing? So I just feel like you blink and it's over. Right. So, but always big plans, always.
It's just the beginning for sure. So it's well deserved. And you are just such a great person and a wonderful friend, fabulous designer. So it is very well deserved, Ashley. And I'm very excited for you. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any of the questions that are popping up. Just a reminder, we do get comments coming from all the different platforms and Facebook groups and channels that we stream to, and they all come up in one feed. So it's very easy to miss questions as they're all rapid fire coming up here. So
I just figured out how to view the comments, like literally right now. And I can help.
There you go. All right. I do want to, okay, once again, reminding everyone, Crochet Furry Friends, this is a signed copy that we are giving away. So if you have not yet commented and you're watching the live stream, what are you waiting for? Because that's how we're going to choose a winner. So please comment. We're going to randomly scroll and pick one in about 5-ish or so minutes.
Should we give them some incentives? Should we show them all the patterns that are in the book? I think we should.
Let's do this.
All right, let's do it.
Do you have all the characters there, or you have the book?
We have the book. We've got Sammy the skunk here. He's an intermediate pattern, but very, very cool. And we've got Bella Bat.
I think this one might be my favorite.
I took a special class. I flew to New Orleans to take a class with Lily Chin on how to shape chevrons just to do that pattern so I could have a proper bat wing. And so when I say that I will go to the extremes to make sure that I get what we need and to make sure it's easy for you guys to do, I'm serious. Like, I went to New Orleans just for that.
And to see me.
Well, you were also there, right?
I just happened to be there. Yeah.
Yelled at you from across the hotel room. It was very, it was like almost like a meet cute. It was like, Pam.
It was so dramatic and wonderful, and I loved it.
I was like, do not yell, Pam. So that's how I roll. And then we've got Patty Panda. Ollie Owl.
So sweet.
Pierre Penguin.
Love the names too.
Oh, everybody has a little personality. Beatrice Bunny. This is one of my daughter's favorites. Lucy Unicorn. And then Sid the Sloth.
Oh, so cute.
We've already seen her, but let's see her again. Abby Axolotl. Elliot Elephant. And then the guy that started it all, Barrington Bear. Oh, and then I always forget. Poor little Sherman. Sherman is
Poor Sherman. Look how sweet that little face. I love that. So all those patterns, plus all the tutorials, plus links to additional tutorials, recommendations on yarn. This is, and I mean, everyone's talking about the pricing right now on Amazon.com. So the US Amazon, it is, not only is it on sale, but there's a coupon as well. Up here in Canada, I just checked, and it's still only $19.99 Canadian, which is amazing.
Yeah, which is great. Look at the price of other books right now. It's
one day shipping. Yeah. So if you need a little something else under the tree for yourself, because, for whatever reason, get the book. I love everyone's talking about which patterns are their favorite. Or if these are great for if you do like craft markets, if you sell finished items, if you have some children that need gifts over the next year or two, it's just, I'm really excited about these. And I love that some of them can be just made in an evening. So, I love it. So, okay, what we're going to do, this is very technical and scientific. I am going to start scrolling and you're going to tell me when to stop.
Okay.
And that will be the winner. I will be shipping it out. Today is Friday. By Monday. I just realized I got to go with the.
And Donna, yes, all of the patterns have yardage, every single one. Awesome. And I tell you exactly what I'm using. Like, that's my one thing about books is like, I tell you exactly what yarn, exactly what color, the yardage. I want you to have everything that you need to get what you want. All right,
Ashley, I have started scrolling. So whenever you feel the urge, just tell me to stop.
Now.
All right. Rochelle Pizza.
Woo!
Viewing from YouTube. You won. You won the Crochet Furry Friends book. So please email, I'm going to write this down. You're going to email support@furlscrochet.com, subject line winner, and I'm going to need your shipping address. So I'm writing this down, Rochelle.
Congratulations, Rochelle. I hope you
That is so exciting. We're going to do another giveaway. So I only have the one signed copy, but I do have hooks. So I am also going to do a giveaway for a $20 Furls credit so that someone can get something else. All right.
You know what, Pam? I'm going to up you one. I'm going to sign another one. I'm going to give you another one. We'll sign it, and you can give it to the person with the hooks. There you go.
All right. Well, you know what, Rochelle? Okay, so Rochelle and whoever the next person is, you will also get a $20 Furls credit on top of that. So, Rochelle, you need a hook or some yarn? We don't have furry yarn, but we have Wander, which you can use. But if you need that, we're going to do that too. So I'm writing that down because I know Victoria is going to be like, what did you do, Pam? Okay. All right. Thank you, Ashley.
You can tell Victoria it's my fault. It's totally my fault.
She'll still blame me. It's okay. All right. All right. I am scrolling again.
Now.
All right. We have
Donna. You're lucky.
Congratulations, Donna. You have also won a copy of Crochet Furry Friends and a $20 in Furls credits. So congratulations. I'm writing that down too. Please email support@furlscrochet.com, subject line winner, and we will get you your Furls credits and your book. Writing this down. I will forget. Okay. Oh, that's so awesome. All right. I'm going to hide that. Ashley, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Really, really appreciate it. I know we have been trying to line this up for a few weeks. So I appreciate your patience. And yeah, I don't know, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Happy holidays. Stay safe, stay healthy, as all my children are home today with some virus of some kind.
I hope they feel better soon. It's brutal this year.
It is really brutal this year, and I hope so too. The next week's the last week of school before they're off for 2 weeks, and they've got like all their like Christmas concerts and trips to science centers, and so I really hope they're feeling good so that they can do that, because that'd be sad.
Yeah.
Ola Jo said she's grabbing the book now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody who's bought a copy, and I hope everyone has a really happy holiday.
I do too. All right, everybody. Talk to you